Hey everyone, so for those who may not know, this time about a year and a half ago I was in basic training. Don't believe me? Boom, my basic training picture. Anyway, why am I making this video? You know, besides to get views. This is a little bit better. But I wanted to make a more recent, more up-to-date video about basic training. I mean, I assume if you're watching this, you probably have already seen a whole bunch of other videos, mainly from like these guys. You know, shout out to them, but a lot of those videos are a little bit older, and they may not. But those videos might be a little bit older, may not have as accurate of information. So I'll mention like courtesies, rank structure, and all that. But if you're looking for more in-depth videos like that, I'll put some of those links in the description. Again, this is more of a personal, like my experience with basic training type of video, as opposed to me going in-depth through every single thing that you will learn. Yeah, I'll mention that. But I'm mainly just here to talk about my experience, so you get more of a personal video, I guess. So I will say, I do remember a lot of stuff from basic training, not necessarily because I have a great memory, but because your boy kept a journal. Yes, I was that guy writing in his journal whenever we had a little bit of free time, you know, between writing letters and stuff like that. Yes, I was that guy. Because I think in the back of my head, I knew I would be making a YouTube video about this. Look at this stuff. Look at my amazing frickin' handwriting. But, yeah. So, funny enough, I actually remember someone, like, asking or like mentioning that I was writing in a journal. I was feeling, yeah, it's just, you know, keep the memories and stuff, and he was like, oh, well, that's weird. Well, look who's weird now. So I went to basic combat training back in 2023 at a place called Fort Leonard, Missouri, named after this guy. I was there from the beginning of February all the way to mid-April. Basic training is only 10 weeks after all. So to answer the big question that I guarantee most of you have, what is the worst part of basic training? Reception. Reception by a mile.
What kind of place is this?
So what reception is pretty much for like a week, every day you're going to different stations. You're getting your uniforms, you're getting your dog tags, you're getting your dental records, you're getting all types of different shocks. It's a boring process, as in pretty much you learn real quick, like the motto of basic training: hurry up and wait. And of course, that's also when you get your nice free haircut, which was not free, by the way, just saying. And what I mean by that is you get like a little, I want to say over $200, maybe $300 like card. They don't give you it; it's subtracted from your first paycheck. But it's pretty much a card that you use for either the PX, you have to use it to get your hair buzzed off, which you'll get it cut like once every 2 weeks, give or take. But at reception, that's when you get your first free haircut. Reception is, imagine if you're waiting in the Peter Pan line at Disneyland, but you never got on the ride, and you had to do that for like 12 hours a day. Is about the best that I could describe it as.
Bro, I literally spent 6 weeks there before I met you guys. I ended up just like rotting the inside out.
No.
It was crazy.
And also, if you were wondering what that was, I asked a lot of my army buddies, people I went to basic with, people I went to AIT with, if they could send me like little videos about them talking about their experiences with basic training. I'm going to be inserting them every now and again when it comes up in the video. At the end, I'll probably have a full dedication to everything they say, so watch till the end for that. So picture this: you're done with reception, you have your duffel bag full of your newly issued military gear, you're almost excited, you're finished with the most boring thing you've ever done, and then you see the buses ready to take you from reception to basic training. And then you see the drill sergeants.
Drill sergeants.
Drill sergeant.
Drill sergeant. Drill sergeant.
Drill sergeant.
Drill sergeant.
Drill sergeant.
Drill sergeants.
And you're like, oh shit.
You're that one? Get the fuck out of the way.
So how basic training is broken up, or at least how it was for me, maybe they've changed it, but it was broken up into 4 parts: yellow phase, red phase, white phase, blue phase. Now see, that's probably one of the biggest differences from someone who went to basic like 5 or 6 years ago, because the reason they added yellow phase, it used to only be just red, white, and blue phase, but that was of course with everything that happened in 2020. They needed a 2-week period right at the start to make sure, people weren't getting the you-know-what. And those who may be curious, we didn't have to wear masks for the full time at basic training. We only had to wear them for specific occasions, like wore them like every day in reception, which also is one of the reasons why reception kind of sucks. If you rode in a public transit vehicle, like the buses, you had to wear a mask when you were on the buses, like going to the range, going to a lesson, or anything like that. So those are the only times we had to wear a mask. It wasn't like all that bad. It wasn't like 4 years ago where you had to wear it during everything, which would have sucked. But going back to yellow phase, you don't really do much army stuff in yellow phase. Like, you don't do shooting. That's not till white blue phase or red phase. You don't do really anything too physical in yellow phase, because you're just getting there. You're not getting like eased into it, but you're getting like a crash course in like army doctrine, army life, the protocols, how to address an officer, how to address an NCO, all that stuff. Pretty much like what you have to stay focused on during yellow phase is to just stay awake, because a lot of those lessons can be a little bit boring, and this is coming from someone who loves learning about this stuff. But also, you're kind of exhausted those first 2 weeks, I'm gonna be honest, just because you're waking up early. You're doing some physical training, but not all that much. But for a lot of people, that might be more than they've ever done. Now, anyway, let's talk about military structure. Mainly companies, platoons, squads, and teams, which is more or less the basic stuff that you're going to learn at, basic. Now, a company is everybody that you go to basic training with. All the people that are in your company are just in your company. Like mine was Delta 210. Everybody that I went to basic training with was in Delta 210. But pretty much of that company, there's going to be 4 platoons, and that'll be like 30 plus people in platoon. Then in a platoon, there's 4 squads. So my platoon was the best platoon, second platoon, which in the videos that you're seeing, you can tell by our black patch that we have. Now, something that is common in basic training that you're going to experience is something called fire guard, or some places called it fire watch. I don't know, we called it fire guard. That's just what it was for us. But pretty much, you get woken up by one of your battle buddies. Hey, wake up. You have fire guard. And there's a schedule for it, there's a whole thing for it. But pretty much almost every night, or some people it was every night, you get woken up like in the middle of the night to pretty much get out of your bunk, you and your battle buddy, get into your OCPs, your camouflage uniform, and go down to report to the drill sergeant that stayed the night. So back to fire guard, pretty much you and your battle buddy are essentially just doing chores around the bay, or your barracks, if you want to refer to them as that. Pretty much it could be sweeping, mopping, cleaning the latrines. Yeah, fire guard kind of sucks. So like I was saying, yellow phase is just the slowest part of basic training. It ramps up shortly after that. But so the funny thing is, we actually did do an obstacle course during one of the final days of yellow phase. Pretty much our company commander and our drill sergeants had us do it, because that would be the one interesting thing in yellow phase, and it would have been completely bleh. I probably would not really remember yellow phase much if it wasn't for this first obstacle course, which was way fun. I loved it so much. So what the obstacle course was is mainly a team building exercise, learning everybody's strengths and weaknesses, learning who can be a leader and all that stuff, and also whatever the heck this is. Pretty much a way for us to test our strengths and weaknesses, and hey, would you look at that. Yep, that's me in those classes. What a nerd. It could have been worse though. I could have had to wear those Coke bottle glasses like my uncle had to wear when he went to basic training. Nerd! So you do do a ACFT, which is a Army Combat Physical Training Test, which that's not what that is. Hold on. The ACFT is the Army Combat Fitness Test, which is no matter what your job is, you have to take this test and be, able to pass it. Why do I still have these on? But pretty much all that first one counts for is just to see where you are, like in terms of your physical fitness and stuff that you'll need to work on and stuff that your drill sergeant will help you work on. So one thing that you might hear about in basic training, I know I heard this a lot when people were giving me like advice for like keep your head down, like don't try and like stick out too much, just like get there, pass. Some people might say to do that, some people might say to not do that, blah blah blah. Anyway, I digress. Now I kept for the most part a mainly low profile, or I tried to keep a low profile during basic training. Well, we'll talk about that. And one thing I also want to bring up, I don't think I mentioned it in my notes, but in basic training you're going to have a battle buddy with you at all times, it's pretty much just to make sure that you are keeping yourself and somebody else accountable, just in case a thing happens to you or somebody else. You get assigned a battle buddy. My battle buddy was freaking awesome. Shout out to you. Anyone can be your battle buddy. Now we're officially moving to red phase. This is where stuff starts to get a little bit interesting. So Sundays at basic training were oftentimes the best days because that'll be like the day that you go to church. There's a whole bunch of different like denominations and different religious services they can go to, which is really cool. And usually that was when things were chill. You still did stuff on Sundays. Like that was when you usually did bay maintenance, like cleaning. Yeah, but Sundays we usually would go to the PX. That's when we get our haircuts. It would be every other week for the haircut. Then we go to the PX, we get like soap, or we get like detergent, for showers and personal hygiene and stuff like that. And then you did get your phone for like an hour at basic training, which some people are like, oh yeah, phone. But, I understand why some people don't necessarily agree with that. But also, it's 2024, soldiers have their phones. So in red phase, we did the confidence course, which that was not unlike the team building exercise that we did in yellow phase, but this was a lot more individual. We did a lot of climbing, we did a lot of different physical things. We went up and down, we did some army crawls and stuff like that, and that was super fun. It was a lot more of an individual thing than a group exercise. You still like had people like cheering you on, like giving you advice, but it was definitely a lot more of an individual strength just to see where you are. And oh my gosh, that was so fun. That was courage. One of my favorite things at basic training to do was the obstacle courses, which are always so fun.
My name is Specialist Orth, and one of my favorite things about basic was doing the confidence course. I used to do obstacle courses back home, so it was great having a little piece of it there. And just getting to spend time with everyone and getting to talk with others and team bonding and building, it was a really great time.
So, when I said I was trying to fly under the radar? Well, guess who was voted to be 2nd Platoon's first squad leader? Yep, it was this guy. Now, I would love to say that I have like a lot of awesome stories about me being a squad leader at basic training, like me getting that real leadership experience. But that didn't really happen because it was so early in training. We didn't really have that many opportunities for like actual leadership roles. Funny enough, I think I did more squad leader stuff in AIT, ironically.
Well, if we can't solve it, then the drills will come in and solve it.
So another task in basic training is first aid, like applying tourniquets, learning the different types of field care, like tactical field care, care under fire, all that stuff. Like identifying a wound, identifying like how to do a proper carry for a person.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I can't believe one of the sergeants took for female. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
bro, he met my alter ego, bro. Crazy.
Learning how to drag and carry casualties, stuff like that. Me being, one of the shorter individuals, I was usually the one playing the casualty and being carried by my fellow battle buddies, which was, that was certainly interesting. My uniform was disgusting after that, so that's fun. Now, that leads us to like the biggest requirement in basic training. Like, literally, it's a requirement to graduate. You need to do this, or you do not graduate, or you get recycled, or you get booted out, which nobody wants that. So pretty much, before obviously going into the gas chamber, you need to, get a class on, different types of radiation, gases, all that stuff. And of course, how to properly put on, clear, and seal your gas mask. I wouldn't want to say it's nerve-wracking, but this is another instance that you need to trust your equipment and, trust that you will be alright, which, coming from experience, you're going to be alright, I promise. If you're not, you can come back to this video, let me know. So when you walk into the gas chamber, you obviously have your mask on before entering the gas chamber. And of course, the drill sergeant or the NCO there, looks through and makes sure that everyone is, alive. And, make sure that your mask is working properly, you can breathe and all that stuff. Well, then, you have to take your mask off and break it. Break the seal. I don't mean break the mask, break the seal. Of course, the drill sergeant looks and makes sure that the seal is properly broken. And then they tell you, put on, clear the mask, make sure it's all working, all that fun stuff. And then after that, you have to take your mask all the way off. You put it above your head. You put your hand on your battle buddy in front of your shoulder. Then you have to wait until they open the door. And then you have to calmly walk out of the gas chamber into this pit where you walk around twice. And I'll just show you. Now, the gas literally makes you cannot. You almost physically cannot open your eyes, which is why in the video you see me literally try and pry my eyes open. And for those wondering, it is tear gas. Also, side note, when I was watching over this footage, this guy totally bonks this dude's head behind him with his gas mask. But yeah, so the gas chamber wasn't that bad, and I will say there's a ton of funny videos and moments that came from that.
But I was spitting a lot.
Now we go into the FTX, which is a field training exercise. In basic, you're going to have 3 of these: the hammer, the anvil, and the forge. Now, I'm not going to go into heavy detail on these 3 just because it will really depend on where you're going to basic. Because mine, I was in Fort Leonard Wood, which the nickname is Lost in the Woods, and oh my god, were they not wrong. I'll go into some detail about it, but again, it'll be very dependent on where you go to basic training. Plus, I also want to leave some surprises for you guys, So during FTXs, that's when we would get our specific training. We would learn field tactics. We would apply camouflage, tactical crawling, securing the perimeter, and for me, running into a tree branch. Great situational awareness there, Private Smith. Now we're going to the shooting ranges, which I have absolutely no problem with whatsoever, as you can see. So funny enough, my battle buddy from my state, we literally flew in on the same airline. We were in the same company, same squad even, which was crazy. My guy Eames, he got top shot, which, shout out to my guy, he's awesome. But yeah, he got top shot at our basic training company, and he was one of the people honored at our graduation, which I thought was really cool.
The soldier with top shot scored 35 out of 40 for Delta Company 210 Infantry Regiment is Private Eames.
Yeah!
So shout out to my guy. We did a lot of shooting at basic training. Probably the most that any of us have ever done. So we grouped and zeroed both with iron sights and the red dot, the CCO. To qualify on the range, you have to get hit 23 out of 40 targets. But yeah, I will say when you're done at the ranges, you will know that weapon better than the back of your hand. Well, that's new. Now, my favorite part of basic training, the rappel tower. Oh my god, this is so much fun. The funny thing is, I don't really care for heights and, falling. But I don't know, the rappel tower was just so fun. It was just awesome. Now, I will say, to, be able to rappel, you had to have this, harness thing. You had to have it tied up in a certain way that which led to a lot of, interesting pictures, and no doubt. But yeah, the rappel tower, 10 out of 10. I want to do it again. I think I might be doing it again like relatively soon, so I'm very excited for that. I also believe that we are in white phase now, which means we have our second FTX, the Anvil, which means we have land nav. I fucking hate it. I'm just kidding. The group of people that I was with was actually really fun to do land nav with. And I don't have much to say about white phase. I think we did another obstacle course. We did the ranges. The big thing was land nav and our second FTX. So now we're in blue phase, our like final phase before like we graduate. It is insane how far we've gone. So in blue phase, that's when we get our dress uniform, which did not look like this. They didn't have any pictures or videos of us, getting our actual dress uniform, the AGSU, also known as the Army Green Service uniform, also known as the better uniform. Fight me on this. I will fight you and I will win. This is what my dress uniform looks like. So the final 3 events of blue phase are grenade throwing, our FTX of course, and our final ACFT. So a little aside here, I actually have an idea for a YouTube video. So I get some of my buddies who are not in the military, and of course we go through all the events of the Army physical test and just see how they do, see what their experiences are, and of course see how people like it. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know, because I know I would like to do that. I don't know if they would like to do that, but so yeah, let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. So you don't throw a grenade like you throw a baseball or a football. If you did it like that, you would probably be dropped by your drill sergeant, because that is a big no-no. You have to hold it in a certain way and then yell, frag out, and then when you throw it, you have to duck, and it's the whole thing. It's really cool. I'm gonna be honest, it's super cool. So we're in the Forge. The Forge is like the capstone, for lack of a better term, for all of basic training. And to start it off, you do a 10-mile ruck. Which, that was so fun. So, then we set up camp, and then we do a bugle fighting. And my guy Trillo, he kind of beat my ass, and unfortunately I don't think there's any like videos or pictures of that, so just leave it to your imagination. So the first night of the Forge was actually freaking awesome, dude. One of our drill sergeants took the whole platoon out. We looked through like night optics, we were looking at the stars, dude, and like it was full moon, so we had like really good visibility. So the funny thing is, it was such like a warmer night. Then we have sleeping systems, we have sleeping bags, but we didn't sleep in them that night. We just slept on the tarp, and dude, that was like probably one of the best nights of sleep that I ever had. I don't think I had a fire guard that night, because yes, even during FTX you have to do fire guard, and it is interesting. So the day after the 10-mile ruck, we had a 5-mile ruck called Battle March Shoot, or Battle March Carry. Again, I've heard it both ways, so with full kicks, meaning ruck, helmet, weapon, the whole 9 yards. Then we would ruck 5 miles to get to the shooting range, and the whole point of the exercise is to see how accurate and effective you can be shooting with an elevated heart rate. Plus we actually do a layout when we got there of all the stuff that we had. We had to pack like all of our uniforms, notebooks, pencils, pens, all that stuff. Then we would do a huge layout. Each item that we did not have would be a second or like 5 seconds added to our total time for the ruck. So every item counted. So that same day we were supposed to do something called Nick at Night, night infiltration course at night. But there's literally a thunderstorm. We ended up going out back to the barracks because they literally closed down the range that they were doing that at. So the next day we finally were able to participate in Nick at Night and do the actual simulation. And so Nick at Night was our final major event for us at basic training. They shot live rounds over our heads, and we had to do an army crawl with our weapons, with our helmets, with our full kits. It was a whole thing. When I say they shot live rounds over our heads, it wasn't like as close as you think, I don't think. So then, right after that, we participated in a little ceremony called the Rites of Passage, where we got our official U.S. Army patch, and we officially became soldiers, and it was super cool. I don't really have much to say about it other than it's awesome. So the final days of basic training are really, really uneventful. You're pretty much turning in your gear, you're cleaning up the bay, you're cleaning up all the area, Then one of the last things you do is you start like shaving your beret so you can like wear it for family day or for graduation. Except for the fact I still haven't officially worn this because the other company that was graduating with us, we had like a dual ceremony. But yeah, their berets were so bad that none of us were able to wear it. So I still haven't officially worn this at all. So one thing that happens in basic is like the platoons have like a competition with one another to like see who has the most streamers, and the streamer can be like which platoon had the best ACFG score, which had the best CCO, or which one had the best range score, which one had the fastest ruck, or anything like that. It's pretty much something that you gotta have on your guide on when you graduate, and your family can see it during like the ceremony and all that. And whoever has the most streamers on their guide on becomes honor platoon. You know, the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because we were honor platoon, so suck it everybody else. Second platoon, best platoon, suck it. So on family day, you're able to get like picked up by your family and like explore the base, just hang out at the hotel or whichever you prefer. I just went to like this awesome museum that was on base, which I recommend anybody going to it if you're at Fort Leonard. It was so cool. And finally, graduation day. We're all in our dress uniforms. A few of my buddies got a medal for being like super awesome at basic training. So hey, if you're looking for something to strive for, if you're going to basic training, try and be like top shot or try and be like soldier of the cycle, because like it does look good on like a promotion board, I would presume. So after like the ceremony,
2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3. Jones. Ready, down. Ready, up. Man, you have no water. Ready, down. Ready, up. Ready, down. Nice. Ready, up. Ready, down. Ready, up. Ready, down. Ready, up. Go enjoy your family.
we were all like returning to our families for like a few hours for the rest of the day. I didn't really do much on family day. Actually, I just like hung out. It was mainly just a chill day. Then of course you go back to your basic training company. Then from there you go get your paperwork. Then from basic you go to wherever your advanced individual training is. So that's more or less what you can expect from basic training. I did leave out some more like personal stories just because they didn't really fit well with the theme of the video I was going with. There's like a lot more like personal stories I could have talked about, which I might do in a different video if y'all care about that. I don't know. Let me know, I guess. But like I said before, this is my personal experience with like basic training. So take with it what you will. Like two people that are in the same company at the same basic training could have completely different experiences just based off of 1,000 different things. You know, there's never going to be like one set like experience with everybody, no matter what. So I hope that this video was able to like help you guys like understand like what basic training is and like what just to expect with it, really. So one thing about basic training is everybody has their own stories and experiences. So I asked a few of my buddies to see if they could give a few words and like stories about their time in basic training. So here they go.
My name is Specialist Madsen, and I went to Fort Moore for basic training. And one of my key memories from basic training is one night, it was like week 6 or 7, and it was the middle of the night. I was asleep, and middle of the night, about 11 p.m., and I get woken up by fire guard, and they come wake me up and they say, drill sergeant needs all of the PGs down at the CQ desk. Time now. And I go, man, what the hell? I'm just trying to sleep. So I go down to CQ. I get my shoes on. I run down to CQ. And all the other PGs are there from 1st platoon, 2nd platoon, and 4th platoon. And one of the drill sergeants from 1st platoon, Drill Sergeant Lopez, is there. And he goes, men, one of your men decided to go into the CQ office and break a bottle of hot sauce. And I started thinking, what? Who would go into the CQ office and break a bottle of hot sauce? There's so much more you could do in there than just break a bottle of hot sauce. And Drill Sergeant Lopez goes, until you figure out which one of your men did it, everybody is going to have 50-50 fire guard, which is when half of the platoon is awake on fire guard and the other half is asleep. And needs to say it's not fun. And so I go back up, I wake up the entire platoon, and I go, we have 50-50 fire guard because somebody decided to break a bottle of hot sauce, allegedly. And this does not go over well with the platoon. They're unhappy, but they do it anyways. And then we go down to first formation the next day, and Drill Sergeant Lopez says, I was messing with you all. I broke the hot sauce. I just wanted to fuck with you. And that's one of my key standout memories from basic training. It was a fun time.
Hi, my name is PFC Sha. I'm from 340th MP unit. The most memorable thing about my basic training was waking up every day in the morning, right? And with drill sound we running, drill sound singing the cadence song was so motivating for me. I still remember to this day. I'll never forget those days. It always motivated me, my drill songs, right? The cadence, the discipline that they gave us, I'll never forget that. That was my best thing in my life I ever did. I could do it back again. Thank you.
Hey everyone, don't mind me being out of regulation with facial hair, benefits of being a citizen soldier with the National Guard. But I wanted to share a story of encouragement with you about going to basic combat training or basic or BCT. As a gay man, when I joined the military, I was concerned at first because of the muddied past with don't ask, don't tell, etc. But nowadays, it is so much better because regulations actually protect queer people, which is amazing. But once I got in, I realized that no one really cares if you pull your weight and contribute and act as part of a team. I guarantee you, if you don't pull your weight and you stay off in the corner, people will likely exclude you. But if you give it your all and you show that you can be trusted and relied upon, you will be accepted into this second family, which everyone talks about. And they don't care who you are, where you come from. I even had a drill sergeant mention this, that they care about minorities in the sense that they expect you to have worked harder and to have gone through more shit, to have thicker skin. And they say that, even though it's a joke, that we all bleed green, but it's true that when you're in it, they really don't care, in the sense that if you get your job done and you are there and reliable and you show up and can be trusted, then you're part of the family and part of the team.
Yo guys, my name's Jose. I've recently came home from basic training in AIT a couple months ago. I'm currently a 13 Bravo in the Utah National Guard, and my buddy Dustin asked me for some tips or advice to get a normal person through basic training. And honestly, there's really one set of advice that all my drill sergeants, all my NCOs relayed to me all the time, and that really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really stuck with me, and it's right place, right time, right uniform. Honestly, if you can do those three things proficiently and execute it, you're going to be fine. That's my biggest piece of advice for anybody. Other than that, enjoy the time you have with your battle buddies. It can be a bit stressful sometimes. Some people may get on your nerves, but honestly, the people you meet in the Army or in the military in general is honestly one of the coolest experiences that I think that I went through, especially me going through boot camp and all that stuff. So yeah.
I'm Private First Class Garrett. Mine the shirt, well, hoodie. One of my most favorite things about basic training was the very last ruck. We did the 12 miler, which was actually 16, but we're not gonna talk about it. I like rucking because I'm shorter. It's just more fun for me. I've always hated running. But I always had this thing in basic, and I still do to this day, is I'll start in the back with all the tall people, with like one or two of my boys with me. But on this day, I had a buddy from my platoon and another buddy from second platoon. We started in the back because we were just like, cool, we'll catch up to the front eventually. But we go on this ruck, we're just chilling in the back, making jokes, laughing, having a good time, talking about hockey games, sports, stuff like that. Well, as this goes on, we get to like mile 6, and we notice that we're just chilling in the back. So we just keep going up and up, going side to side, or just passing people in front of us. Well, get the eighth mile, and we all look at each other. I'm like, I bet you I'll beat you to the front. So we turned into a race, so you could be at the front first. And the entire time, it was just us keep going and going. And I started to fall back, and then my guy behind me was like, not today. He just kept making me go forward more and more, and just driving me. It's one of the things I love about being in the military, is I never got to worry about, if I go down, at least I know somebody that's behind me is going to push me to my maximum effort. Keep going. That's what I did. And pretty much, after this 16-mile ruck, when we got to the finish, because of nothing but pure friendship motivation, we ended at the front. At the end of the ruck, the drill sergeant that watched us keep going and going walked up to us, was like, good stuff, guys. Not the word he used, but you know what I mean. And he just made us understand how much more worth it was to put in all that effort. And then there was the day that we did the battle march and shoot. I ended up falling out due to some health issues, but I got in this truck, and I was upset about it. And then the drill sergeant that liked me, when they were like, what if we changed the curriculum for doing the ruck? Like no plate, no vest, or plate in with the plates, just PCs and rucksack, and just go. Who do you think would do it? I was in this truck with like 12 people. And he was like, you know what, I think Garrett can do it. I know he can do it. Let's get him out here so we can finish this strong. So I did. And a little different on this one. I started about third in my row. We did the 4 miles in under an hour, and I finished front, first person in my row on the right side. And let me tell you, I've never been more proud of anything in my life. I went on to shoot that day, hit every single target, and it was just the best time of my life. I always had fun in basic, but that was my favorite part, honestly.
Hey everyone, Specialist Smith here, and some advice I would give to someone who is about to go to basic training or is getting ready to go to basic training is be prepared to meet a whole bunch of different people from all over the world. You will meet people from all different walks of life, all different shapes and sizes, and believe me, a lot of them are going to be some of the coolest people that you've ever met. So just as long as you go there with like a open mind and just willing to get to know people, be willing to like accept people how they are, you'll do good there, and just be ready to meet some pretty cool people. Best of luck.
Hi, my name is PFC Blank, and I'm here to give you some personal advice that's helped me get through basic training and AIT. The advice I'm going to give you is about the 4 R's: the right time, the right place, the right uniform, and the right attitude. R1, the right time. Make sure to arrive early to any given orders. R2, the right place. Make sure to arrive at the right location given in your orders. R3, the right uniform. Make sure to arrive in the right uniform given in your orders. R4, the right attitude. The right attitude will help you get through any challenges you face and achieve your goals. The key to being successful at the 4 R's is to listen to all orders and instructions given to you. I hope this advice helps you through your Army career. Thank you for your service.
Hello, my name is Audrey Antoine. I attended basic training from January 2023 until I believe we graduated April 13th, April 14th, 2023. And I was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I had a great experience at basic training, honestly. I learned a lot. I grew as a person. I would say, of course, my favorite moments were weapons qual, learning how to disassemble and reassemble the M4, learning how to shoot. That was very inspirational to learn from drill sergeants in that aspect. But really, anything that the drill sergeants taught me stuck with me. I still, to this day, have quotes that specific drill sergeants have told me, and I use them as a form of motivation because they were an influence with me while I was an enlisted soldier. My greatest experience from basic training would be I was able to compete for the leadership award for my company, and I won it for my platoon. So winning that leadership award, it felt like something bigger than me because I was doing it for not just myself but for my platoon, and ultimately that helped my platoon be able to be the honor platoon for basic training. So I'm very proud of that we were able to accomplish that and make our NCOs proud of us as new soldiers, honestly. Yeah, that was very impactful for me to see my platoon be honor platoon and to see us just so happy that we were able to accomplish something that we didn't think we could. You know, we had struggles within the platoon. Some people didn't like each other, but at the end of the day, we all worked as a team, and that's the #1 mission in the Army, working as a team and getting the job done. So, yeah.
But the drill sergeants were probably the funnest part, just because everybody all together, for the most part, it felt like us versus the drill sergeants. It didn't feel like a companionship working together till the end. But we would always just be watching them, trying to learn from them, trying to hide from them. And so you watch the drill sergeants the most than any other trainees, and just they were some funny people. We had Drill Sergeant Rogers. It's like if you took a bulldog and like a hammerhead shark and you just mixed them together and you turned it into a really, really, really angry guy. I was Drill Sergeant Rogers. But the thing is, it was all a facade. Behind it was like insane intellect. You just knew exactly when to yell, when to not yell. He'd walk around all day doing this with his hands, just hit him at the side, just walking, pacing, or he'd do this. It was the funniest thing to watch, just him talk and talk and talk. But he said a lot of really good stuff. Basic training was a wild ride, and the people were the most riled part of that ride.
Oh, y'all are still here? Well, thanks for making it this far into the video. Thanks for watching the video. If you couldn't tell, you know, the place I'm living in is a little bit different. So I actually recorded most of this like a few months back. I've just been slowly editing it and just trying to get all the videos together. I just want to say first off, thanks to all my buddies who did end up sending videos. You know, it took a little bit, it took a while. That's one of the reasons why this video took so long. I was just trying to get as many videos as I could, and if all my buddies that weren't able to understand, I still appreciate, you know, if you guys tried to give you shout outs somewhere in the video anyway. So again, you know, I'm in a new place. I hope to be making more and more videos in the near future. I have a few more videos lined up, so I'm very excited about that. Again, you know, this video is just, you know, meant to be more in good fun, hopefully a little bit educational for, you know, people that might have some questions. If you have any additional ones, or if you want me to go over something that I kind of just only barely stated, or if you want me to go over something that didn't state too much, just leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to respond to them. I think that's about all I have. This video is pretty long, so if you watched all of it, I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more of my videos, if you're new here, please do consider watching some of my other videos that I've posted, and consider and, you know, think about subscribing, because I'm trying to put a lot of effort into this whole YouTube thing. So if you like what you see, you know, come along for the ride. And I think I've rambled long enough, so I'll probably just end it here. Thank you. I can't believe I forgot to talk about this thing. If you know, you know.